Welcome back to Harbour Unboxed. Now, as I'm sure many of you are aware, I've spent the last few weeks checking out various second-hand graphics cards in an effort to come up with some kind of solution for those of you who are desperate to get gaming. I did start with the Radeon RX 580 8GB, which was $300 US when I first started recommending it earlier in the year, but unfortunately by the time I got to it, by the time I did my revisit, it was typically selling for more like $400 to $500 US. So with that, I moved on to the much cheaper GeForce GTX 1060 6GB, which could comfortably be had for around $300 US. So that's $50 over the MSRP, which was set 5 years prior. And as ridiculous as that sounds, and let's be honest it is, this is a decent deal and makes the 1060 one of the cheaper and better value graphics cards you can pick up right now. But if you're willing to spend what should be RTX 3060 Ti money on an old GeForce GTX 1070, so $400 US, you can enjoy all the latest and greatest games using quite respectable quality settings. Now, the 1070 first went on sale back in mid-2016 with an MSRP of $380 for partner cards, and today you're paying roughly that price for a second-hand model. So, in a normal market, that's a laughably bad deal, but today it's actually quite good, and it certainly beats buying an RX 580 for the same money, especially given that the Radeon GPU was selling brand new for around $150 US 2 years ago now. But just to make sure nothing's changed in that time, I will be comparing the GTX 1070 head-to-head with the RX 580 8GB in 15 games at 1080p and 1440p using a range of quality settings. Before we jump into the blue bar graphs though, a few quick notes on the test system. All testing has been conducted on our Ryzen 9 5950X test system using 32GB of DDR4 3200CL14 memory. So the results are going to be entirely GPU limited. Okay, let's get to it. Starting with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we see that at 1080p, the GTX 1070 is around 15% faster than the RX 580 and around 10% faster at 1440p. That's a great result for the aging GeForce GPU, as it means it was good for around 60 FPS at 1080p using the medium quality settings and then 70 FPS with low. It also meant that you can get a decent experience at 1440p using the low quality settings. So not amazing performance, but it's a nice step up from the 580, and with both priced very competitively right now on the second-hand market, it does make the GeForce GPU a much better value buy. Next up we have Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, and here the GTX 1070 was blistering fast, leaving the RX 580 behind by a 16% margin at 1080p and 1440p when using the medium and high quality settings. For those of you seeking 200 plus FPS, the medium quality preset at 1080p will work, and for the slightly more casual 120-ish FPS gamers, you'll get away with high even at 1440p. The recently released Biomutant game was a bit of a struggle on the RX 580, especially with the high quality preset. This was far less of an issue with the GTX 1070, which was between 35 and 45% faster at 1080p, and then around 40 to 50% faster at 1440p. This meant that at 1080p, it was possible to achieve over 80 FPS even with the high quality preset, while comparable performance was possible at 1440p using low. So excellent performance overall, especially for 1080p gamers. The GTX 1070 proved once again that it's still very capable of tackling the latest games, this time pushing well over 60 FPS in Outriders using the high quality preset. Even at 1440p, performance was good. 66 FPS using medium was a great experience, and even 53 FPS with the high quality settings wasn't bad. It was also an impressive 61% performance increase over the RX 580. The GTX 1070 also found itself in a completely different class when testing with Horizon Zero Dawn. Here we're looking at around a 35% performance boost, and that meant well over 60 FPS at 1080p using even the favor quality preset, and then over 60 FPS at 1440p using the original quality preset. So again, that's a great result and plenty of performance at respectable quality settings for gamers to really enjoy this title. We're also looking at around 25 to 30% more performance in Shadow of the Tomb Raider with the GTX 1070, and that again allowed for well over 60 FPS at 1080p using respectable quality settings, such as the medium quality preset, which looks very good. Then at 1440p, the 1070 did dip below 60 FPS using the medium preset, and therefore those seeking more frames will require the low or lowest preset. We've seen previously that Doom Eternal runs exceptionally well on the RX 580, and even the older R9 390. So it comes as little surprise to find that the GTX 1070 makes out just fine, delivering over 100 FPS even at 1440p using the nightmare settings. Death Stranding is another game that played very well using the Radeon RX 580, and here the GTX 1070 offers 25 to 30% more performance, so that means you're looking at well over 60 FPS even at 1440p using the second highest quality preset. That being the case, the GTX 1070 is more than capable of delivering an enjoyable gaming experience at either 1080p or 1440p in Death Stranding. Now, if these results look a bit odd to you, it's because they are. The RX 580 runs into some kind of performance-related driver bug in Dirt 5, which is a bit humorous given that this is an AMD-sponsored title. So the margins to the GTX 1070 are significantly larger than they probably should be, but that's not an issue for the GeForce GPU as it was able to deliver more than 60 FPS even at 1440p using the medium quality preset. So the 1070 is a great second-hand option for those of you looking to do some rally driving. Moving on, we have Watch Dogs Legion, and here the GTX 1070 offered around 20 to 25% more performance, and the extra frames come in particularly handy when using the high quality preset, which saw the GeForce GPU render 73 FPS on average at 1080p and 51 FPS at 1440p. Resident Evil Village played exceptionally well in the RX 580, but even so, the GTX 1070 has a little extra to offer, at least when not CPU limited, which is what we saw at 1080p using the performance preset, capping us at around 120 FPS. Using the maximum quality preset, we're looking at up to a 17% performance improvement with 84 FPS on average, and then 12% at 1440p, jumping up from 50 to 56 FPS. Now, Cyberpunk 2077 didn't really play all that well in the RX 580, as the best we could achieve was 55 FPS using the lowest quality preset at 1080p. The GTX 1070 really wasn't that much better, but the 16% boost at 1080p using the low quality preset was welcomed, as it did make the game noticeably smoother. Alternatively, you could aim for the same 50-ish frame rate, but increase the visuals with the medium preset, so the GTX 1070 is a little more flexible here. Given what we've seen so far, it'll probably come as little surprise that the GTX 1070 is able to run Forza Horizon 4 with ease, averaging 87 FPS at 1440p using the highest in-game quality preset. Then for high refresh rate gaming, the medium quality preset will work at 1440p, but if for some reason you require even more performance, the Pascal GPU was able to render 165 FPS on average using the very low quality preset. The second last game tested is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and here the GTX 1070 is simply in another league, offering 40 to 50% more performance than the RX 580. As a result, we're almost able to achieve a 60 FPS average at 1440p using the highest quality visual settings. And that meant 66 FPS was possible using the high quality preset at 1440p or 102 FPS at 1080p. So exceptionally good performance in this title from the old Pascal GPU. Finally, we have the F1 2020 data, and here the GTX 1070 is able to provide over 60 FPS even at 1440p using the highest quality preset. That being the case, 1080p gamers will be able to receive a high refresh rate experience using even the highest quality settings. So really for this title, you don't need anything more than a GTX 1070. Here we can see that on average, the GTX 1070 offered about 27% more performance than the RX 580 at both tested resolutions across a range of quality presets. This means for 1080p gaming, the GTX 1070 is still for the most part able to deliver 60 FPS or better, with very few exceptions. Those of you gaming at 1440p will for the most part be able to achieve 60 FPS or better with the medium quality settings, so again, for what is now quite an old mid-range product, that is a great result. So there you have it, the GeForce GTX 1070 is not only faster than the RX 580 for gaming, but it's also a very capable graphics card in 2021, delivering highly playable performance in almost every game using a respectable level of quality settings. Of course, paying $400 US for an old GTX 1070 is a very hard pill to swallow, but if you've been unable to game for the better part of a year now, it might be worth pulling the trigger on. Of course, that will be for you to decide. It is really hard to put a dollar figure on something that you really enjoy and rely on to unwind. And I know for myself, gaming is a big part of that unwinding process. It's something I look forward to each week and really enjoy playing games online with friends. Still, As I said, it's a hard pill to swallow, especially given that for $400 US, you should have access to the GeForce RTX 3060 Ti, a product that offers around 80% more performance. Hell, for $400, you got over 50% more performance with the 5700 XT 2 years ago now. But of course, we are faced with a much different market in 2021. Today, the 5700 XT typically sells on the secondhand market for between $700 and $800 US. So in terms of cost per frame, it's actually much worse than the GTX 1070 when buying secondhand. You can also snap up an RTX 2060 Super for around $600, but that's still 50% more than what the GTX 1070s are typically going for, and you'll only be looking at around 25% more performance. So that being the case, for desperate secondhand buyers looking for a good level of performance, the GTX 1070 does look like a decent deal right now. And that is going to do it for our 2021 revisit of the GeForce GTX 1070. If you liked the video, you can do the like thing. You can also subscribe for more content. I'll probably do a revisit of the GTX 1060 3GB as well, since you can buy those very, well, I was going to say cheap, or they're more affordable. Obviously, like everything, they're not great value now, but compared to the other models, because they're not very good for mining, because they've only got 3GB of VRAM and whatnot, they are cheaper. So maybe that is something I will look at. Don't know, you guys let me know in the comments section below if you want to see that. But other than that, we have Floatplane Patreon if you want to support the channel and get some pretty cool perks in return. We have a live, we do a live stream, Tim and myself, one live stream at least per month. Tim's actually doing a Lego live stream as I record this for our Patreon of Floatplane members. Apparently his work for today is building some Lego. So I feel like Tim's sort of worked out a loophole there. But anyway, while Tim builds his Lego, I'll be editing this video. So yeah, Tim has it worked out pretty well. But anyway, if you want to see Lego live streams or just more perhaps tech related live streams, then yeah, Floatplane Patreon. We also have behind the scenes content, a really cool exclusive Discord server for Harbour Unboxed members. Did I say behind the scenes content? Because we do that as well. Anyway, a lot of stuff there. So if you're interested, check it out. Links from the video description. If not, that is perfectly fine. And I would like to just thank you for watching this video. I'm your host, Steve, and I'll see you again next time.